Noorsign Books presents Ramadan Miracles. Stories of faith found in the ordinary. Crescent Moon over Christchurch. Part 3. Scars and Stars. Christchurch. The 27th night of Ramadan. Aroha Nasser stands frozen at the threshold of Noor Mosque, her grief a fresh scar. But in the shared prayer of Fajr, she might just find the courage to let the light in. The 27th night of Ramadan arrived under a sky of clean black. Stars pricked it sharp as pins. A slim crescent hung low over the Port Hills, pale and exact. The date fell cruelly close this year, just a day after the anniversary of March 15th. "It's so dark," Tariq breathed from the back seat, nose to the glass. His little white kurta peeked out beneath a puffer jacket zipped to his chin. Sleep-flattened curls stuck up in protest. "That's winter," Aroha said, fingers tight on the wheel. Her navy abaya felt strange on her after years of jeans and scrubs. It was the one she'd worn on the last Eid with Bilal. "Are the stars better in Ramadan?" Tariq asked. "Tata says everything's better in Ramadan, even chips." "Your Tata has strong opinions about chips," she murmured. "I like chips," he said seriously. "We should have some after we pray, eh?" "We'll see," she hedged. Dean's Avenue slid beneath the tires, ordinary and loaded at once. Houses, trees, half-finished roadworks, and the invisible geometry of memory her body recognized. They turned the corner. Al-Noor rose before them. The mosque glowed warm against the cold night, white dome edged in gold, crescent tip catching moonlight. Light spilled from its doors and windows. Cars lined the street. Families crossed between them and the entrance, children darting ahead, parents calling them back. "Mama," Tariq whispered, "it's so beautiful." Aroha parked down the road. Her hands ached from gripping the wheel. "Yes," she said, barely. In the mirror, his eyes shone with reflected light. "You okay, bub?" "I'm excited," he said, bouncing in his seat. "I can tell." She stepped into the cold, fixed his kurta, tightened his jacket. His small hand slid into hers, warm and certain. In her other hand, the green Quran pressed against her palm. She could feel the ridge of the hidden envelope like a second pulse. They crossed the street. The smell reached her first. Wool coats and perfume, rosewater and cumin, the human warmth of people who had just broken their fast. Al-Quran recitation floated from inside, long and slow, wrapping itself around her ribs. At the bottom step, her feet froze. The last time she'd stood here, it had been raining, sirens shrieking, police tape cutting the air. She'd been in soaked blue scrubs, ID badge knocking against her, shouting, "My husband is inside," at a line of uniforms who would not let her pass. Now the only tape was fairy lights on the railings. People brushed by. A woman in pink smiled at Tariq. A boy gave him a thumbs up. Someone's baby cried upstairs, the sound folding into the recitation. Her body screamed danger, even as her heart whispered home. "Mama?" Tariq tugged her hand. "Why did you stop?" "I'm just taking a breath." He squeezed his fingers. "It's okay if you're scared," he said solemnly. "I'm here. I'll hold your hand." The reversal punched the air from her lungs. Before she could find words, a woman stepped from the flow of people. 50-ish, warm brown skin, scarf and sea green shades, smile lines around her eyes. She came to stand beside Aroha, not in front. A hand, small and firm, settled lightly on Aroha's shoulder. "I remember you," she said quietly, island lilting in her voice. "From the first anniversary. You were holding the baby then. Tariq, yes." "Yes," Aroha managed. The woman's gaze fell to the boy now. "He would have been so proud of this boy," she said simply. Something in Aroha broke then, not apart but open. Her breath hitched. Tears blurred the steps. "When you're ready," she murmured, hand a steadying weight. Shall we go in? There was no push, just presence. Aroha drew a breath, then another. Her feet moved. One step, then another. The cool line of the threshold passed under her soles. She was inside.
The women's section opened ahead in teal and light, rows of carpet ribbed with pale lines, already half-filled. Colors shimmered under the lamps. Abayas, shawls, coats, socks, and bare toes curling into the softness. Low voices hummed. Children zigzagged along the back, older girls corralling them. At the front, women stood with Al-Qur'ans open, lips moving with the imam's voice through the speakers. "First time back?" someone whispered behind her. She didn't answer. Her eyes were pulled to the south wall. 3 small rectangles of glass broke the smooth plaster. Behind each, concrete pitted by jagged dark holes, spiderweb cracks radiating out. Next to them, a plaque. Scars of March 15th, 2019. We remember. We refuse to forget. They had kept them. She knew abstractly from photos and articles. Seeing them here, preserved inside worship, was different. Why keep the wounds? Why pray in front of them? She realized with a jolt that she had done the opposite. Inside herself, she'd plastered, painted, pretended smooth. Not over Bilal, that memory she polished, but over the rawness. She hadn't wanted to look. Instead of holes, she'd kept a sealed letter. "Mama," Tariq whispered, tugging her sleeve. Her heart lurched. "Yes, baby, that's from that day." He stared a long time, then took in the whole hall again. Full rows, light, the murmur of prayer. "It got better," he said calmly. She blinked. "What?" "The masjid," he said with 7-year-old certainty. "It got shot and then it got better. Like my knee when I fell off my bike. It was all yuck. Then you cleaned it and it got better. It still hurt, but I can walk." He nodded. "It got better." An older lady in lilac dabbed at her eyes. The woman with the sea green scarf made a soft choking noise beside her. Aroha looked at the scarred wall again. Not healed as if nothing had happened. Healed with memory inside it. The imam's recitation rolled on, deep and slow. They joined a back row. She spread her mat. Tariq knelt, swaying a little with tiredness, eyes huge. "Can I go with the kids later?" he whispered. "The ones with the books?" "Insha'Allah," she murmured, "after we pray a bit." He leaned into her. She rested her hand on his head. For the first time in 7 years, she felt strongly that Bilal was not just past, but near. After a set of rak'ahs, a volunteer in an orange vest announced the children's program. Stories, nasheeds, treats. Tariq's eyes pleaded. She kissed his forehead. "Go, listen. Not too many treats." He scampered away. Without his small weight, her spine sagged. She let herself breathe. "Sister Aroha?" She turned. Imam Abdullah stood respectfully at the edge of the women's area, gaze lowered. The women nearby melted back to make space. "Assalamu alaikum," he said softly. "It is good to see you here." "Wa alaikum assalam." Her voice was rough. "If you are ready," he said, "I can give you what we kept for you. My office is just here." Her eyes flicked toward the side room. "I'll keep an eye on him," the sea green scarf woman said, smiling. "He's making frogs with Musa, alayhi salam. He's in good hands." Aroha nodded. "Okay," she whispered. "Yes." They walked along the back, down a narrow, cream-painted corridor. The hum of the hall softened behind them. In the tiny office, 2 chairs, a desk, shelves of worn books, a black notebook lay on the desk. Corners scuffed, a faint coffee rang on one side. "I kept it here," the imam said. "They found it among the belongings that day. One brother recognized his writing. They brought it to me. I knew it was for you." Her knees wobbled as she stepped closer. Inside the cover, Bilal H. Nasser. Underneath, in smaller print, "Insha'Allah, future projects." The imam moved to the kettle. "I will leave you. Take your time. When you are ready, we will pray Fajr together, inshallah. The door clicked softly shut. Silence gathered. She sat. Opened the notebook. Floor plans, arches, notes on beams and sunlight, pages of things I want to build, ideas for community center. Then, turned upside down, a new section written from the back. At the top, things I want to tell our kids, in case. Her breath caught. The first lines made her laugh through the ache, warnings about sog and milk cartons. Then deeper. The Al-Quran is not just a book of rules, it's a love letter. Your mother's name means love. Remember that when she looks tired. And then, if Allah ever gives us a son, I would like to name him Tariq, after Surah At-Tariq. I like the idea that he will arrive in darkness and be a light for us. Tears blurred the ink. On the next page, if I ever leave before you, please don't let your grief become the only room you live in. Visit it. Keep it nice, but don't move all your furniture there. There will be other rooms, other doors. Go through them. Take our kids with you. Don't teach them that love means staying in the dark. Her body folded. A raw sound tore out of her. This was not the tidy crying she allowed herself on anniversaries. It was years of held breath leaving at once. When the sobs eased, she found herself on her knees. One hand gripped the desk. The other reached for her own Al-Quran. The envelope. His and her names blurred together. With shaking fingers, she broke the seal.
The first sentence made her bark out a broken laugh. You're probably rolling your eyes at me for writing a paper letter like an old man. In my defense, it's the last 10 nights, and apparently I am full of feelings and low on rational judgment. His voice sat inside every line. I was thinking today about forgiveness, about afwan. I always thought it meant erasing the other person's wrong, like saying, it's fine, it didn't matter. But maybe what gets erased is the weight off your own back, not the wrong off theirs. Allah isn't asking you to pretend the thing never happened. He's offering you the chance to put down what you've been carrying it with. She swallowed, the words scraping their way down. Here's the actual love letter part. I don't know what will happen to us. I assume we'll get old and wrinkly and argue about the dishwasher in our retirement home. But in case Allah writes something else, I want to say this now, while Ramadan makes it easier to be honest. 1. You are the best thing that ever happened to me after the Islam, even when I forget to say it, even when I'm sulking about raisins in biryani. A wet laugh escaped. 2. If I die before you, wow, this letter got dark, sorry. Please don't think you owe me a lifetime of sitting in a room made of my memory. Visit me there as much as you like. Tell me things. But then go into other rooms. The mosque, the hospital, the mare, our kids' schools, the garden. God didn't give you a heart like yours to have it only face one direction. 3. Al-Noor is the most beautiful place I have ever prayed. The way the light comes through the east window at Fajr, it's like the room is breathing. If anything ever happens to it, I believe with everything in me that Allah will make it more beautiful after. That is what He does. That's His job description. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. She pressed the page to her chest. Tears came again, but softer now, threaded with something like release. Last thing, because my hand is dying. If Allah ever gives us a son, I vote we name him Tariq. Surah Tariq keeps following me. The night visitor, the morning star, the one who knocks. I like the idea of a boy who arrives in darkness and brings light. If it's a girl, we'll fight about names later, inshallah. Whichever we get, whenever we get them,
I know this. You will be the best mother. You'll teach them to be Mahdi and Muslim and human. I'll be honored for however long Allah lets me stay to watch. I love you. More than I can write without sounding like a Hallmark card. Make dua for me in these nights. I'm making dua for you. Bilal.
The letter shook in her hands. She bent over it and sobbed, forehead almost to the desk, shoulders heaving. He hadn't known what he was preparing her for, but in his simple, earnest way, he'd given her permission to step into other rooms, to love him without living only in the dark.
Eventually, the sobs thinned, her breathing steadied. Tears still slid, but they no longer tore through her. A small, warm weight stirred across her legs. "Mama?" She startled, looking down. Tariq was curled on her lap, half on the office chair, head against her. "How did you get here?" she whispered, stroking his curls. "The lady brought me," he mumbled, "the one with the green scarf. You are making loud crying noises." "I'm sorry," she said, a shaky smile tugging. "Did I scare you?" He frowned. "You weren't scary. You sounded like when my knee hurt and you cleaned it, but more." "That's about right," she brushed his cheek. "Why are you crying?" he asked bluntly. "Because your Baba was very, very good," she said, voice thick, "and I miss him a lot." He nodded, accepting this. "Me too. Even though I don't remember him, I still miss him. Is that allowed?" Her heart cracked and mended in one movement. "Yes," she whispered, "that's very allowed." He peered at the page. "Is that from Baba? His writing?" "Yes, he wrote it for me, before." "Does he talk about me?" She smoothed the wrinkled paper. "He does. He says he wanted a son called Tariq, that he hoped you'd be a light for us, and that he loved you very much, even before he knew you were here." Tariq's face glowed. "Okay," he said, satisfied. "That's good." He squirmed closer, then glanced at the ceiling. "Is Baba here now, like Teta says? When we pray, she says the people with Allah can see us. Can he see my practice fasts, even when I stop 'cause I'm too hungry?" Aroha let out a trembling breath, glancing around the quiet little office, the faint hum of recitation through the wall. "I think," she said slowly, "when we pray, we're in front of Allah, and the people he loves are close. So yes, I think he can see you, and I think he's very proud, even of the 11 o'clock practice fasts." He relaxed. "Good, I want him to see." A soft knock came. "Sister," the imam's voice, "they are starting a subh soon." She wiped her face with her sleeve, folded the letter back into its envelope, and slipped it into the inside pocket of her abaya, closed the notebook gently, resting her palm on its cover. "Thank you," she whispered, "to Bilal, to this room, to the one who had woven ease into all this hardness." She grasped Tariq's hand. Her legs felt steadier as she walked back toward the prayer hall.
Fajr lines were already forming, rows straightening like ribs. The air buzzed with a quiet, shared anticipation. Aroha found space at the back, set Tariq beside her, straightened his little feet on the carpet lines. He swayed, rubbing his eyes, then leaned against her. From the front, Imam Abdullah's voice rose, calm and sure. "Allahu Akbar." She raised her hands. For the first time since March 15th, she bowed with the community in the mosque where her husband had fallen. In sujood, her forehead pressed into the wool. Dust, warmth, the faint memory of rosewater, this old familiar smell poured through her. Her palms pushed into the carpet. She felt, as her body surrendered, that she was placing not just herself, but some of the weight she'd carried down. With hardship is ease. Not after, with. By the time they spilled onto the steps after as-salah, the eastern sky had turned glassy gray. The crescent faded into it. The air bit her cheeks, her breath puffed in clouds. Around them, people bundled into coats, children hopped from foot to foot. Laughter sparkled with yawns. Tariq clung to her hand, sleep shaken off, eyes shining. "My legs got tired," he declared. "Mine too," she squeezed his fingers. "You did really well." "Can we come back on Friday?" he asked eagerly as they walked toward the car. "For Al-Jum'ah, Teta says you and Baba came every week." She glanced back once. The dome glowed in the growing light. Inside, scars in the walls sat behind glass, not hidden, not bleeding, part of the structure now, not its end. "Yes," she said. The words settled into her like something that had finally found its place. He beamed. For a heartbeat, his grin was so like Bilal's that she lost breath. "And can we get chips?" he added, hopeful. "I'm very, very hungry from my practice fast." She laughed then, properly, head back, shoulders loose. The sound felt like something breaking, and sunlight rushing through the crack. "Yes," she said, "we can absolutely get chips." They walked to the car. Tariq marched half a step ahead, tugging her forward, trusting absolutely that he was being led somewhere good. She did not look back again. She didn't need to. The mosque was no longer a door sealed behind her. It had become part of her inner landscape, scarred and standing, holding a notebook, a letter, memories of a man who had written, "in case," and a verse that insisted ease had always been there, braided into the pain. Ahead, the road curved toward home. The sky lightened by slow degrees. Beside her, a boy named for the morning star swung their joined hands, already talking about chips and frogs and suar. Against her heart, the letter rested, its weight unchanged. But now, it felt less like a stone in her pocket, and more like a map. And for the first time in a very long time, the coming day did not feel like something simply to survive. It felt like something opening, like a door, like a dawn.
You've been listening to Ramadan Miracles, a Noorsign Books original. In the quiet rows of the dawn prayer, as Aroha makes peace with her past, a mother and son finally find their place. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next miracle. Visit noorsignbooks.com to join our community and get the full collection. Jazakumullah khairan.